Welcome back. Now, South Africa's rand climbed as much as 1.5% against the dollar today, mainly reflecting a recovery in global risk appetite after better than expected Chinese trade data. The rand remains hostage to worries about the ailing local economy, which is beset by a crippling drought and uncertainty over fiscal policy after a bungled cabinet reshuffle in December. The rand briefly touched a session high of 16.42 to the greenback in early Johannesburg trade and was 1.14% firmer at 16.48 compared with Tuesday's close. This was in line with Asian shares, which made their first real rally of the year today after Chinese trade data beat expectations, offering a rare chink of light for the global economy. And the chief economist at the London-based Exotics Partners, Mr. Alan Cameron, has asked the Nigerian authorities to provide more clarity on its official economic plans and in particular its foreign exchange policy. Mr. Cameron says clarity on those areas would help improve investor perceptions and lower the required yield. On Tuesday, yields in Naira-denominated FGN bonds rose to 13% on average as prices fall sharply ahead of January 21st debt auction. The economist adds that given the current market conditions, Nigeria could still raise debts in single-digit yields. Nigeria's 2016 budget provisions for overseas borrowing of 900 billion naira or $4.5 billion are the current exchange rates, of which the World Bank pledges a support of $2.1 billion. And the Asset Management Corporation says it plans to sell its majority stake in Pan Limited, a local joint venture with the major French automaker, and is seeking bids from investors. Peugeot Citroën is the technical partner to the Nigerian assembly plant, which has capacity to assemble 240 cars a day. According to AMCON, it owed 79.3% of Pan Nigeria Limited, having acquired the stake 4 years ago after purchasing the company's debt and taking some as equity. Pan Nigeria Limited was set up in 1972 as a joint venture between the Nigerian government and Francis Peugeot, with an annual production of 90,000 cars by the 1980s. And faster growth in the construction, mining and transport sectors pushed Tanzania's growth higher in the third quarter of 2015 compared to the same period a year earlier. The state-run National Bureau of Statistics said today the economy grew 6.3% year-on-year in the third quarter, compared with 5.4% in the same quarter in 2014. Tanzania's total exports of goods and services during July-September 2015 rose by 3.3%. Chua added that gold accounts for 89% of Tanzania's mineral exports. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has asked his oil minister to reactivate all talks with OPEC and non-OPEC oil-producing nations following Tuesday's 4% drop and seventh day of losses for oil. An oil price recovery will be positive for recession-hit Venezuela, an OPEC member, where roughly 96% of hard currency income derives from oil.
I have ordered Minister Eulogio de Pino to reactivate all negotiations with OPEC and with non-OPEC oil-producing countries in order to stop this price war and recuperate the oil market, for them to be activated immediately with Russia, Saudi Arabia, and all the OPEC and non-OPEC countries that we have insisted on and will continue insisting on for a recovery formula for the market and for the oil price.
The International Monetary Fund is looking forward to cooperating with the China-initiated Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB. The Assistant Director of the Asia and Pacific Department of the IMF, Mr. Chikahisa Sumi, said this at a forum attended by IMF officials and members of U.S. think tanks in Washington, D.C. Sumi is one of the authors of the book, The Future of Asian Finance, which was released by the IMF in August of 2015. The inaugurating ceremony of the AIIB will be held in Beijing on January 16.
infrastructure investment need is huge. It's simply huge. And then infrastructure investment is a very productive investment, and then it has the potential of crowding in private sector investment. So developing countries usually lacks that funding mechanism for that needed infrastructure investment. We're looking forward to the collaboration with the AIIB. We would welcome any help to finance this vast need to upgrade and solve the infrastructure bottleneck, which is constraining the growth on the supply side at the moment.
The European plane maker Airbus beat Boeing in the race for new business last year, swelling its total order book to a record $1 trillion, but says it remained behind on deliveries. The plane maker division of Airbus Group grabbed 1.036 net plane orders after cancellations, down 29% from 2014, compared with Boeing's tally of 768, a fall of 46%.
At its annual results news conference, Airbus CEO announced its order book is worth a record $1 trillion, showing it netted more orders than rival Boeing in 2015. Airbus hit a company record of 635 deliveries and predicted over 650 in 2016, with new orders again exceeding deliveries.
We have got more than 4,000 net orders for the last 3 years, and the backlog has increased again by 400 units at 6,787 aircraft, which is a new industry record, and which at list price has a value of $1,000 billion.
Both plane makers experienced a slowdown after 2 years of heavy orders and amid concerns over the impact of the economic jitters and low oil prices on demand for fuel-saving jets. Despite that, deliveries of popular models grew, reflecting industry forecasts of persistent growth in traffic.
The market is very positive. The airlines are performing extremely well. The low fuel price globally helps them to prepare for the future. They know there is a volatility in this fuel price. They don't expect that the barrel will remain around $35 or $40 forever, and so they are preparing for the new generation.
However, Airbus dropped to its lowest overall share of deliveries against Boeing, 45% since 2002, and its lowest share of wide-body deliveries, 35% since 2001, after its rival pumped up deliveries of its 787 Dreamliner. Airbus expects to close the gap between its competing A350, but deliveries have started gently due to industry-wide cabin supply problems and the European firm's determination to avoid a repeat of industrial problems that beset Boeing's 787 and its own A380.
We can find time to time people who don't understand. Last year, it was clearly Zodiac. We suffered a lot with Zodiac, and I expect that they will manage to do much better this year, especially as a lot of our A350s deliveries are directly linked to their performance on lavatories and seats. Yes, it is a message.
In a boost to slow-selling A380, the world's largest passenger jet, Airbus, said it had won an order for 3 of the double-deckers from a global leading airline. Airbus missed its target for 15 A350 deliveries in 2015 by 1 plane after shortages in the cabin equipment. It expects to deliver at least 50 of the new jets in 2016.
Our Ford Motor Company on Tuesday unveiled a new luxury flagship full-size Continental sedan at the Detroit Auto Show, aimed at Chinese and American consumers. Let's watch this.
Lincoln says sales of its brand have beaten expectation, with demand for its vehicles leading to 33 dealerships and plans to expand to 60 dealerships by the end of 2016. Kumar Galhotra, president of Lincoln, says the brand is doing very well in China.
Well, in China, the brand is held in very, very high regard. In China, our favorable opinion for the Lincoln brand is actually higher than that of Lexus. In China, the perception of prestige for Lincoln is actually better than Audi. And some of our products there are actually selling at a premium to those brands.
Ford's U.S. luxury sales have lagged to those of foreign competitors, including BMW and Daimler AG's Mercedes-Benz unit. Until the 1990s, Lincoln, along with General Motors Co. Cadillac, were by far the U.S. luxury sales leaders.
So we're obviously deploying significant resources in the growth of Cadillac and rebuilding the Cadillac brand and restoring it to the absolute pinnacle of the automotive industry, where it's been in the past. And we're doing that by doing world-class vehicles, absolutely top-notch performance, top-notch styling.
In 2014, Ford said it hoped to triple Lincoln's global sales by 2020 to 300,000 vehicles globally from 100,000 in 2013. The new Continental will be built in Flat Rock, Michigan, and goes on sale in the fall in both China and the United States. BMW is the reigning leader in the global luxury car manufacturing, but rival luxury brand manufacturers are finding ways to narrow the margins. American, Asian and rival German automakers showed off the latest luxury vehicles at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, with hopes of wooing consumers away from BMW, which has now clinched the leading luxury auto brand for 11 years in a row.
So the first step is build better products. If you want to be competitive, you need to make very good product, and you have to do it for a while to get that brand image up. Now, some of the domestic manufacturers, they're already on the right track. You look at Cadillac, they make wonderful product, and honestly, in our testing, they're just as competitive as Mercedes-Benz and BMW. They drive really nice.
Sales of BMW's core brand reached 1.91 million in 2015, and strong demand for sports utility vehicles. BMW faces increased competition from German premium rivals Audi and Mercedes-Benz to keep expanding the number of vehicle variants in its portfolio.
The three global
Ian Robertson, a member of the board of management of BMW AG, said the three top luxury brands were in Germany and says they don't take competition lightly.
All competition is something we're wary of, but I can also tell you we like to shape our own future rather than necessarily keep looking over our shoulder.
Mercedes sales rose 13.4% to 1.87 million cars last year, compared with a 3.6% jump to 1.8 million luxury cars sold by Audi, a subsidiary of Volkswagen. Both Volkswagen and Audi have been embroiled in a scandal over manipulated engines in recent months.
U.S. President Barack Obama says anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction. That's after the break. Do stay with us.